We have a 2024 Canyon SPEEDMAX CF size medium and 10 kilos, 0.28, oh, 22 pounds, 9 ounces. Stay tuned after the video. We have a free buy sound test on Reynolds wheels right now. Hey everybody, GC Performance here, back with that video, and today I have for you guys the Canyon SPEEDMAX CF7. This bike retails for around $5,700. And today's video we're going to talk about, does Canyon have a stronghold over the triathlon market? I want to talk about what Canyon does so well with this bike build here, this price point as well. And I want to talk about other manufacturers in the industry that really have a presence in the triathlon market, but their price points are so high, they almost price out the consumers that want to get into the sport. So I want to talk about a couple manufacturers that do really well with it, and also some might price other consumers out. But Canyon really does hit the nail on the head. With this bike model being $5,700, which is a complete race-ready setup, a full carbon fiber cockpit with aero bars, a nice E-tap setup, beautiful carbon wheels, and a nice looking frame as well with a power meter for $5,700. And then they also have a model underneath this for, I believe, $3,700, which is just aluminum wheels but the same frame. So it really does give any consumer a chance to get into the sport with a competitive bike. But my point is this. Canyon also does a really good job of advertising. They have a lot of athletes in the tri market. They make the bikes really well. And Canyon bikes do look very clean with the setup, the logos. Their logos is great. It looks very modern. Also, shape of bikes look really good. But like I said, this bike for $5,700, it got me thinking. We got it sent here by a customer for us to build up. And I was thinking to myself, one, I still specialize in Scott. Specialized has such an absence in the Shiv triathlon market for so long now. I haven't even seen a Shiv triathlon bike in the longest time be in stock. So I have people asking for this bike, but I can't even get them. And two, their price points are completely different. To get a similar setup with a 12-speed electronic group set with carbon fiber wheels, which are basically just C38 wheels, they're at $9,000. So there's a huge price discrepancy there of about $3,500 to get a similar spec'd out bike like this Canyon right here. And I was like, okay, what about my other brand, Scott? Like, Scott usually does a pretty well job at price pointing. Well, they only have their full bikes, which are, I believe, TT setup and triathlon, but their cheapest bike is $10,000 by Scott. Granted, they're beautiful bikes, but they come with Ultegra Di2 as well. I'm like, then I started thinking to myself, what other big name manufacturer out there have a bike that competes with everything that you get here on this bike? And it really, I looked at Cervelo, their triathlon bike with a similar spec Ultegra Di2 starts at $9,000. Then I looked at Trek, the Concept Speed as well. Same idea, carbon fiber wheels, Ultegra Di2, $9,000. And I was like, okay, let me look down the line. I checked Felt Out, I checked Quintana Roo. Quintana Roo does a decently good job at it, but they've been known as a tri company for a while. And we used to stock Quintana Roo back in the day, and they weren't really my biggest seller, but they do a good job. But even Felt has a triathlon, I believe it's a Felt IA triathlon bike. And it's a carbon fiber bike, carbon fiber wheels with an alloy cockpit, but it's mechanical Ultegra for this same price point, $5,500. To get, again, electronic with a nicer cockpit, it is about $9,000 again. So I gotta think that Canyon really has that market down. Plus, in terms of ease of setup, I know it really sounds like I'm shilling out Canyon, even though they're a massive competitor to us, but in terms of ease of setup, to get this bike out of the box, we literally just slapped on these bars, and this cockpit is one of the most beautiful cockpits I've ever seen set up. Again, I work with Spesh, I work with Scott. The ease of this setup, where you have the blip blocks inside of these zip carbon fiber bars, so these are zip carbon fiber aero bars. One, I love the grips here, but you have your shifter buttons up here. So while you're in your drops, you can kind of just shift right here and click with your blips, which is very nice. You have your blip blocks or your box right here to go ahead and pair these shifters to it, which is really nice, your button here, and also your button here. You have the integrated Garmin mount that's right in front of your face. When you're down pushing out watts, you can see that. This part down here is also carbon fiber, which they could have slacked on and made this alloy, but I like that they did this carbon fiber. The ease of these shifters, so you have these SRAM hydraulic disc brakes right here, but the biggest thing is, like, people used to put these little blips right here that looked ugly. They have these nice little clip-on buttons that already came pre-routed. So right here, when you're in the drops of the triathlon bike, you can still access shifting right here. Yeah, I mean, they really did an amazing job with that cockpit. I was very surprised by it. I thought it was a beautiful looking build. The cockpit alone, like I said, on all the bikes I usually work on with triathlon bikes, going from Felt, Quintana Roo, Specialized, Scott, it's usually a pain in the butt to still build. They don't come pre-routed. They're a pain in the ass to build up back and forth. Absolutely hated them. So this, how it came in, I loved it. Smooth as hell. Also with here, you do get a nice bento box. Also with this bike, they gave you a ton of storage on here. You have your little Canyon bento box up top here. You can put your goos, nutrition, whatever you want inside of there, which is nice. Which is still very easy to actuate and open this up. Usually I'll get some that are kind of jankety. You have another storage box right here where you can kind of put tools or, again, nutrition, whatever you want inside of here, which is always good. Storage is great for those triathlons. You need fuel on those long kind of rides and swims and runs. Bottle cages here and here. And then also just the aerodynamics of the bike. Like I said before, they did a really good job designing these sleek bikes. I think they're a very good looking bike, as much as it pains to say it. The back looks very aggressive. I mean, literally looks like a plane. The back of wings of planes, I mean, they stick out really nice. The weight of these bikes, again, for 20 pounds, 22 pounds, that's what every single triathlon bike out there is. Doesn't matter the company. These bikes do not care about weight. They care about aerodynamics. And this is where everyone says, whenever I show you guys an aero bike, you're like, oh, it's so heavy, it's so everything. This is where aerodynamics really shine. And this is where you'll be riding a guy on one of these triathlon bikes or TT bikes will literally pass you standing still, because you're getting the full benefit of the aerodynamics with that position for the aero bars. Again, power meter for the SRAM Rival. It's just the cork power meter, which you do have to kind of reset every single time you get on it, but just a thought that counts. To get a power meter on here, to give that to a consumer and then say, hey, if you don't like it, upgrade later. They might get used to this and be like, that works just fine for me. 12 gears in the rear with wireless shifting, and then a beautiful carbon wheel set by Reynolds. You get the 58 AR58s in the front, and then you get the AR80s in the rear, which is a nice staggered wheel set for triathlons, which is great. Comes with Continental 5028s. You already get a nice set of race tires in there. Beautiful bike. I cannot knock it at all. I think that's a really good job. I think they do a really good job of strongholding this market. I believe this is 2 little integrated areas for a light as well, and a nice tri-saddle. But look at how much aerodynamics. This is where you're starting to see all these bikes come out here. This looks very similar to the Scott Foil, to the Trek Madone. They're all copying this aerodynamic down tube right there on this. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think, if there's a company I missed, well, Cube is across the states, but across the pond. But is there a company that you think I missed that does a better job than Canyon? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Free by Santos of the Reynolds AR80.